Hey guys, this is Billy Davidson with Davidson Pressure Wash and Painting, coming out of Hammond, Louisiana. Wanted to show y'all something a little different today. Some of you may have ran into this in the past. Personally, I haven't, never seen this done. I had seen the end result of it, so I didn't know much about it, so I was approached with a project. And I did a little research on it and decided I feel that we could went ahead and put a quote on it, and we did, and they approved it. I am in a vacated store. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, Amazon is the result of some of these little mom and pop stores closing down in the last few years, and probably will continue over the next few years until there's a balance to the market when it becomes to internet sales versus brick and mortar. So that brings us to this point. In this shopping center, we have about 7 vacated stores that tenant moved out, moved up, probably, got out of business, whatever the deal was. And until this store is occupied again, they don't want it to look so terrible from outside, just empty windows to be vacant where pedestrians or vehicle traffic can look in here and just see an empty hole, basically. So this stuff that we're applying to the windows is called glass mask. It comes in several colors. There's a frosted color, which we're applying here. There's also like an opaque white, and I believe there's like a deep dark green and maybe a mirror finish black. There's several colors that you can apply to these windows to achieve this result. If you're a landscaper, this may come into play for you. We have a lot of landscapers that watch the channel, and we definitely appreciate it. We love our landscapers just as much as we love our power washers, obviously. So to the landscapers, you may run across this a little more often than some of the power washing guys, but that being said, the power washing guys or painters could come across this as well, even some roofers. So this may help out. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the application, a couple of do's and don'ts, and maybe this can give you a little advice on it. It's not too much information on how to apply this stuff. So first, we'll talk about how it's applied, and then lastly, we'll talk about the pricing of the material and the price per square foot to take care of this. First off, this is a latex-based product. It comes in gallon jugs, I believe. I believe you can get it in 5-gallon jugs. And the instruction says do not thin, do not cut, do not dilute it down in any way, shape, or fashion. So you apply it straight out of the bucket. Basically, 1 gallon is going to probably do anywhere from 300 to 400 square feet of glass. And, like I said, you apply it straight onto the glass. The glass does need to be relatively clean. You definitely, want to make sure if the store has been empty for a while, it could have some spider webs formed like it did in here. So you want to have a little whisk broom or dry mop or something, just pull those spider webs down. If there's any decals on a window, if it's security decals, you can go right over that with this stuff. If it's some tape or some for sale sign or something like that, you want to pull that down. Now, that being said, if there's a real estate for sale sign in the window, you want to paint around that sign, because if you do, all the glass in the store, you won't be able to see the for lease or for sale sign. So you want to leave that spot blank and basically just put the sign up and paint around it. That's all you really need to do. That way the for lease sign could be visible. So like I said, you apply it with long strokes. Basically, you want to trim in the window either with a 9-inch roller, frame it out, and then complete the middle of the window, which we refer to that as the field. So there's 2 parts of painting this window. You do the trim and then the field. You can do the trim with a brush, maybe a 4-inch roller, or if you pretty handy with your 9-inch roller, you can frame it out as well with your 9-inch roller, and then complete the middle of the window, or complete the field. do long vertical strokes up and down, light pressure. You want to have your roller loaded up with the material, but not actually dripping off. So it's that fine line that you got to find there with, with this product and doing this application. Obviously, you want to put some drop cloths down to protect. Although this is a water base, it can wipe up with a damp cloth, just a wet cloth with water. It can wipe up within 30 to 45 minutes of applying it. A couple other things about this. You don't want to apply it on a window that has an enormous amount of direct sunlight, which is pretty rare for that to happen. But if you get an exposed window off to the south or something, or southeast, where it gets a lot of sunlight for the majority of the day, this may not be the proper product for that. But in our case, these storefronts are under a small overhang. Well, I guess about an 8 or 10 foot overhang, so you don't get a lot of direct sunlight in. So you're fine with that. If you were painting a window in direct sunlight, once this material dries and contracts, it could cause the window to fracture. And as we all know, this is that safety glass, so it's popcorn glass, kind of like your sidecar window in your vehicle. If it fractures, it's going to fracture into a million pieces, into little bitty chunks of all shapes and sizes. So we don't want that to happen. So make sure you read the manufacturing label very carefully on it. And I believe there's some MSDS sheets out on the internet that you can look over in a PDF format. I always recommend, if you're dealing with a product that you're unfamiliar with, go ahead and print those MSDS sheets out, have them on the job site, just in case you got a question. Because, of course, we got our smartphones, we can jump online. Sometimes you just don't have signal. So I always like to have those sheets nearby in the truck or something. It's only usually 2 or 3 or 4 sheets to print out, no big deal. Again, just apply it with long strokes. You're going to see some streak marks in it. It's not a perfect application as if you was painting some type of sheetrock wall or something. So you're painting glass. You may have a few streaks here and there. As it dries, those streaks tend to get a little better. And I think the complete cure time on this is about 2 days, depending on if the store has AC. This store doesn't have AC in here, but it is a little cool. I don't know why. Some of the other stores were really hot. So this one may cure a little quicker. Again, about 2 days on the cure time, 48 hours. Within 4 hours, you can touch it. We do know that. We have tried that already. Now, in particular, this product is designed, once a tenant moves in, they can get up there with a fine razor blade and peel it off, so they say. I've never peeled it off. That's what the label says. I've seen a couple videos on the internet where they're peeling it off in sheets. But like always, sometimes this doesn't go like that exactly. So it might take a little plastic spatula or a plastic putty knife to peel it off. And from what I've seen, it kind of comes off in big sections. It's more like a rubberized material. It does have a texture to the back of it once you use a roller on it. This can be sprayed as well through an airless. So it is a water base. If you're going to spray it, want to make sure your airless is absolutely clean of any solvents or any other materials that you may have sprayed in that airless prior. So just a few things to remember. Again, it's called Glass Mask. I think you can get it at several of the big box stores. I think Walmart carries it, Home Depot, Sherwin-Williams, probably Pittsburgh Paint probably carries it. So may want to look at it as that. We'll talk about the pricing of the material, and then I'll tell you about the pricing of the square footage for labor. This project came up kind of at the last minute, and they needed a price fairly quickly, so I shot them over a price. I probably underestimated it by 10 or 15% once I did a little more research on it, but all is well. They had accepted it, and I left a little money on the table, but it wasn't too bad. The price per gallon is anywhere, depending on where you get it, could range anywhere from $40 to $60 per gallon. And yes, that is a very wide range of price. So you have to really check your specific area. The reason why the price may vary is because of shipping. If you happen to be close to a manufacturer, maybe somewhere out there in Texas, Austin, Texas, Waco, I got two real good guys out there in Waco, Texas. If y'all watching, a shout out to y'all. Hope everything is going well. I think they have a paint manufacturer out that way. Atlanta, Georgia. Got some friends out in Atlanta, Georgia. We love Atlanta. We'll probably be going out to Atlanta in a few weeks on a business trip. So hopefully I can meet up with some of my friends out in Atlanta. So, but if you kind of way off, maybe in Wyoming, or I don't think California has any paint manufacturing. I could be wrong. Nevada doesn't. Florida has a couple. So depending, on your distance from that manufacturer is going to depend on the price of your product. So like I said, anywhere from $40 to $60 a gallon. A lot of times you got a pretty hefty shipping price on it. So that's where the variation. Now, like I said, each gallon covers about 300 to 400 square feet. And you put it on there pretty liberally. Put it on there, a nice thick coat, and you just let it dry. Apply it, wipe up your little drips, and forget about it. Now, the price to apply this in my area, with the given amount of square footage that we're doing, I went in at about $1 per square foot. So we had a couple thousand square feet of windows. So basically you want to just literally go out and measure the windows. You don't want to have to measure each seam and all that. So we just stretched the tape measure from left to right, got our measurement, and from vertical down to the window seal. We did multiply that together, wrote that down. We measured each window like that from the outside. We didn't have to have entry to the store at that moment. So we added all those numbers up, got our square footage. We knew our product would cover anywhere from 350 to 400 square feet. Divided that into our square footage, found out we needed about 6 gallons of it. And we went in $1 a square foot, just over $1 a square foot. I probably could have went to $1.35 to $1.40. That would have been more in line with the market value. Another way could be $1 per square foot plus materials. That would be also a good rule of thumb. Now, that being said, if you only have one storefront, you can't do it for $1 a square foot, because this would only probably pay you about, $150, to do this window. So that wouldn't work out. If you have to have a minimum charge, usually my minimum on anything is generally between $400 and $600, depending on what I'm doing. But I'm pressure washing a little piece of a dumpster, or painting a few parking lines at a dentist office, I have that minimum. You just got to have it to move the truck, and you know how it is. It costs money for everything: gas, lunch, SH, paint, rollers, spray tips. So you got to have a minimum. But if in our case, you got 7, 8, 9, 10 stores, you can go in and do it by the square foot and come out great. Like always, if y'all need my help on anything personally, I talk to several guys each day. I talked to 2 or 3 guys today. I done lost count. I talked to a guy out in Sydney, Australia this morning. It was wonderful to hear from our friends from down under. I know they watch the channel, and we definitely appreciate it. They have a lot going for them down there. Their economy is really picking up from when I hear, and they're doing well. A lot of building and construction down in Sydney and the surrounding parts. Talked to a gentleman out in the Cayman Islands. Talked to another gentleman out in Rome, Italy, Rome. So I was really fascinated to hear from that. Matter of fact, I am in the process of learning some Italian. So maybe some of my Italian friends from across the pond there, when we talk on the phone, y'all can help me out. So I'm really interested in learning several languages. I'm trying to learn several languages at the same time. It's really difficult, but it is fun. It's very challenging. So like always, if y'all need my help, I love talking to y'all, chatting with y'all. Don't give up if I don't respond right away. My phone number is 985-345-0778, and I'll talk to y'all soon.